Every other time with Eric, we're back with another riveting episode. Today I have a friend in studio, good friend of mine. We have a rich history here. It's going to be a hybrid episode. It's also not only a catch-up, but a recovery episode because the gentleman seated here in front of us is someone who I share a specific path with, and this is the path of recovery. Naushad, how are you doing, man?
Good, man. How you doing?
Kosalama?
Kabisa.
Now, let me set the stage. So, the year is what? I'm not sure the year, but one afternoon in a rehab somewhere in Kabete.
2021, when COVID was hitting.
I think 2019 or
No,
2020.
2020, yeah.
Yes.
March 2020, 3rd of March, yeah.
So, we're here, I'm in some rehab somewhere in Kabete, and we're doing like an evening session. And afternoon into evening. Yeah. And in comes this guy. And of course, he's just, so I think he had finished being, I think, oriented, and then he was told now join the group. We were doing like some group therapy.
I don't remember, yeah.
Yeah, and then he joined us. And I remember him looking, disheveled, confused, scratching his head, wondering, that all the tenets that happen when someone comes to rehab, man. And I'll just fast forward to now. This is year what now?
From that 2020, now it's the 5th year.
You've been sober all through.
Yeah.
Wow. So take us through that day, man. What was happening that day? Because you came in a completely lifeless, soulless guy. And of course, as we hung out in there, we became friends with realists. Us guys were on some Viva.
Yeah. I remember you were the first person who approached me, and I'm like, yo, look at this guy. And then I've never, except the day before I arrived at the rehab, I've never thought about rehab. And yeah, as we all know, the addiction, rather the alcoholism, that's what I'm doing, doesn't have like a warning. Based on my background, I didn't ever imagine that it will get that worse. So when I got myself, I remember on 2nd of March, that is 2020. That's when I thought, like, if God is going to give me a chance to live, I'll for sure live to the fullest. If I get that opportunity. So I remember I was walking down to one of the locals. I used to live in Mimuto. So walking down to that local.
Shout out Mimuto. Mimuto is one of my former drinking locations.
Yeah. Mwam, man. It's after Kitisuru, the new Kitisuru. So that's where I was staying. So I had fucked up the previous day. I had a company car. I had an accident at Rongai.
Yes.
And then I was trying to run away from the police.
You are doing deliveries, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So as I'm running from the first police, they called the second police. They had a roadblock for me. So I had to stop. I had hit a lorry by the side, rear though. So after seeing that, I saw a police officer, ducked the police officer. And then the second police officer had a roadblock erected. So I couldn't... Just for me. So I couldn't go anywhere. So then I lighted, go to the police station. At the police station, you just park by yourself. Nobody's parking the car for you. Then we walked into the OB area. I got booked. And then as they were asking for questions, they asked if I can pay a cash bail. Then I'm let go, and then I can appear in court the following day. Whichever way you want to translate it. I don't know if they want to release or what.
Yes.
So then I was like, I need to call my boss and let the boss know that I've been arrested. But then, of course, I wasn't going to be honest, that. So then my phone was off. I gave them my phone and my charger to charge for me. Then I can call my boss. Not long, I saw an opportunity and then walked out of the police station.
You literally just walked out?
Yes, I walked to the parking. Started the car, actually. From the parking, I reversed. Got to the main gate of Rongai Police Station. If you know where Rongai Police Station is, you can tell. So walked there.
Shout out addicts and their guts, man.
Man, I've left my phone and ID and those other things that you give to the police at the OB. So as I'm almost leaving the police station, the police officer, the lady who had arrested me, saw the car leaving, and she's like, yo, stop that car. And then it was stopped. Had to come back.
Now it's double the crime.
Yeah. Then got back. The story doesn't end there. I came back to the parking. Now they took away the keys. Then walked again to the OB, got into the cell. I don't know what was wrong, rather what was right. Maybe fate was on my side. So as I walked into the cell, they forgot to lock.
You're like, they are testing me, man.
Yeah, man. And then when I stood up, I realized it's not locked. So I opened. I walked. Now this time it was successful. So I didn't drive. I left the car and everything, the police station.
Left your phone.
Yes, everything.
One shoe?
No, I had not removed my shoe and belt. It's just the phone and I even had my card because money was in M-Pesa.
Yeah.
So I didn't have anything in M-Pesa. So I walked, went to a nearby M-Pesa center, withdrew with my card.
Yes.
Some money, transport from Guy, got to my workplace. So when I'm getting to my workplace, I was high as a kite, man. Because we were drinking that time. I walked into the office and I told them, you know what, the Kanjo have arrested me in Rongai. So I left the car. It was all panic because it has never happened. So the admin called the manager called the director. You know the director.
And the director, without saying names, is someone who's commonly known to both of us. A very senior guy, a gentleman,
Respect to him.
a solid individual, man.
I owe him my life.
I saw him in Diani the other day. It was quite a pleasant encounter. Yeah.
You know, I've never called him. I have a way of going to call him one time in life.
He literally changed your life, eh?
Yeah, man, it's him, nobody else.
So
when I get admin is panicking, calls the manager is finding out, and then, you know, I had a car in the company. I had a car and a bike that I could use when called for duty. So the following morning, around 4 a.m., I woke up, my hangi down, went to do the deliveries, and then I panicked.
You're not thinking about...
I had chorad in my mind, I'm going to do this. So I've done few deliveries in the morning with the bike, the early morning deliveries, come back to the company. And then now information had reached. Because now the police were worried, where's this guy? We arrested somebody, we can't see it, the car is here, the phone is here, is he alive? Where is he? Where can we find it? So the company car had a company number. They called, they rang the office got the information. Now they told them the story, the true story. I lied that the Kanjo had come arrested. Now the office had the true story. When I'm coming back for the second trip, and I was told by the admin, don't go for end delivery now, you need to go to see the manager. I'm like, wow. I went to the manager. They had even asked how much the police wanted, but the police had requested for 20 G's cash bail. So that's what I told them. That's what required. So I get to the manager's like, Naushad, what's up? I have to say that I was one of the good employees they had. So they had that good respect.
Hardworking guy.
Always, wherever I go, man. I've always done my best. Yeah. So even my guy who ended up taking me to rehab, we had met a number of times, but he could identify a good guy from a distance. And I think that's why he gave me a chance. He's like, this is a good guy. So then manager tells me, director wants to see you. I'm like, wow. By the time it gets to director,
all the way up.
Yeah, something is not right here. Yeah. Then he's like, don't go for end delivery. Some other drivers will do it. Just go to your house and we'll call you. I had a company house, actually. So go to my house. And then I'm thinking in my mind, I'm fired. I'm all fucked up. We're going to do and it's done. So I'm trying to figure out how to, again, now get back to the street and get a job. And before long, the director calls in. He had an emergency. He had to go somewhere for a meeting, so he didn't come by himself. He sent... I know you know that guy.
Yes.
The Eden guy. He sent him now to the office.
For context, the person we're talking about who he sent, again, we're also going to keep names away, but he's a director at one of the rehab we were at together. And at this time, do you know who this is?
No. In fact, when I walked into the office and I found him, he's a huge, well-built guy. I thought the police is here now.
And he's like, there's something about that gentleman. He's quite he's Janjes. He knows how to talk.
Soft spoken.
How are you?
Yes. What's your name again?
What is happening?
What's happening? Okay. Can I have a brief history of your past?
So who are you thinking he is before?
A police officer, of course. No, I had fucked up, man. In the police. Yeah, he's here to arrest me. And I'm like, I'm ready because it was all my mistakes. So as I'm waiting for him, he introduced by just one name and he said, I'm a good friend to my director then now.
Yes.
And that's how I got okay, we talked with the manager in the office, and then briefly manager excused himself, walked out, and the guy continued, wanted to know more about me, my past, why I was. I'd just left Denmark that time. So we talked and it's like, yeah. Now, this is the last statement he said. Because I was waiting for the moment. I'm being told, now we have to walk to the police station. You need to be answerable for your mistakes. I was ready actually to do that. I think in 2019, I had already been arrested and got myself in jail. I served 3 days out of my 5 months.
The typical life of an addict, man. Law enforcement and addiction.
Yeah. And that was the funniest story, man. And I'd promised myself I'm going to drink. But when I got out, I celebrated my release by drinking.
Fun enough, the time I got out of my bid at Inda, the first thing I did when I now got some actually, people had sent some money on M-Pesa. And when I found it, it was like, yeah. Mm-hmm. It was like an emergency. So now we have to tell the story about jail while drunk and by, with the
yeah.
So I know
it feels nice to sit around with a bottle.
Nilikuwa wapi bana?
Kwanza jela. And then it was actually that going to jela is I was taken to industrial area when I was arrested that evening. Yes. The cell, yeah. Man, that thing stood me. I was shocked. That's how bad it was. I'm like, wow. If I leave here, I'm not going to stay to drink again. I'm like, this is the silly and stupid mistake that brings me here. I'm seated with a murderer, somebody who has done big crimes.
Yes.
And my only crime is drinking.
Yes.
What the fuck am I doing here, man?
In fact, when you look around in rehab, in cells, and when you see guys are sober, you're like, you're a real criminal.
But then for me, my only crime, you remember we were sharing that story, I'm telling you. Man, I'm sitting with somebody who tells me he has killed. I'm like, my only crime was to drink and drive. At that time, I was riding, actually. I was riding that day when I was arrested and taken to Inda. So I'm like, my only crime was to ride while high.
Under the influence.
Yeah, and then I'm trying to figure out how did I get myself here.
But also it's important to mention that even as we stay sober, because the more you stay sober and the more you reflect.
So much on life.
Even the act of commandeering any vehicle under influence, it's actually quite...
Have you ever asked yourself how you used to do it while high?
And not even forget me and my life. Imagine how many lives potentially. Hope you're enjoying this episode so far. I just wanted to mention that this episode is brought to you by Grace Stays. Grace Stays is your solution for any travel down south. If you're going to Diani, I want you to think Grace Stays. For all your travel solutions in Diani, if you're looking at accommodation, if you're looking at expeditions, different packages, looking for homestay, if you're looking for private chef, they have the best deals, the best packages for you. If you're thinking Diani, I want you to think Grace Stays. We're going to be putting up all their details on the screen right now. This episode is proudly brought to you by Grace Stays. Amazing products, amazing people. Every Other Time with Eric, proudly sponsored by. Back to the episode. You're putting in danger by going on the wheel.
And do you know the funny thing is, when I was arrested, I'd hit a police officer from... I was too late to brake because of now your judgment is like the distance,
yes.
And then I ran on him from behind, just a bunyala roundabout. So he got down and then I'm sorry. He arrested me, realized that I was drunk.
Yes.
Yeah, so back to the story of how I ended up in rehab.
So you're the director now?
Now the director doesn't come. I'm now with the director's friend.
Director of the facility.
Yeah, director of the facility, where I finally walked into. And then after having that, like a 1 hour discussion with him, talking about my life, what do I want in life. And then I didn't even know him, so I didn't want to be as open. But at that time, I was vulnerable. I had reached my rock bottom. I wanted any help that could come my way. And here, I was worried of two things. I'm losing my job, that's definite. And then the police officer cases. Then how am I going to start life? Figuring out life. And then he ended up on a very good note. Now, Mr. Director has thought twice to take you to a place for 30 days. Ufikirie maisha yako.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus. Have you ever had a conversation? I'm like, this is what I was waiting for. How did you end up saying this thing? I was very happy. Emotionally, I cried. And then he told me, now, before we do that, you need to go to Rongai police station and clear from the police. But don't worry, we got you. Nothing bad is going to happen. And then they were in communication with director now, telling director was like, take him, whatever police wants, we'll sort it. Whatever the police will want to, if they want to take him to court, if they want to release him on cash bail or anything,
For context, the director we speak of is a multi-billionaire. Let's just leave
Oh,
it at
man.
that.
Multi.
Billionaire.
In any currency you think of.
You probably looked at some of their hotels somewhere but anyway.
Yeah. And then now when he's talking about 30 days in Diani, I'm like, wow.
Oh, initially it was Diani.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I was supposed to fly to Diani. I think director went ahead of me. So that's how I didn't fly to Diani. So he got engaged. He couldn't receive their calls. So the director of now the facility decided, we have another one here in Lokabete. Let's just go there because we will not allow you to go home. Once we settle, then we'll hear what my director now could have said. And then they'll act upon his instructions. So then we get to Rongai police station with 2 cars, manager's car and now the director of facilities car. At that time now we started having a conversation, knowing each other. And then he told me about the facility and I'm like, yeah, you're going to have fun, you need help, you look a young man, you need to change your life. I'm like, yeah man, this is what I wanted to hear all along. And at that time, when help came, I had already given up. And I didn't know what to do with my life. I was ready to die. I was ready to do anything that would come my way. As long as, I don't know what I wanted, but I just knew I was not in the right
frame of mind.
Yes. At that moment, I needed just any help that could come my way. I remember even the last time I drank on 2nd of March of that 2020, I drank crying because I can't avoid it, but I have to drink.
And such is the nature. I want us to just focus on that a bit because sometimes, of course, addiction gets a very bad stigma about it because, of course, of the damage it creates. Talking about ramming into police cars, the money that's blown, opportunities lost. But that sentiment around crying while drinking is something I can relate to so much because if people knew how many days you quit, this is the last time I don't want to drink again tomorrow, I swear. I love you wake up and that thing is calling you. And it's calling you more than food. It's calling you more than water.
You don't eat.
It's
don't eat.
The compulsion to want to drink supersedes anything.
The fun thing is my mom is a staunch Adventist. She has prayed for everything possible for me to change. And I hated God at that moment, I must say. Because how could God not stop me from drinking? That was my question. I have prayed, my mom is praying, my siblings are praying. They could see something. I've tried everything and I'm asking God, why are you allowing me to drink? I've told you, man, I'm dying inside. I could go days without eating because I was staying alone. You come home drunk, you sleep, you wake up in the morning, you have to go to work, then you go drink. Toa-lock, yeah. I used to toa-lock up Ongara.
And sometimes you toa-lock just to be able to operate.
Yes, because you can't operate.
You can't even think.
Yes. Yeah. But when you wake up in the morning, when you're freshening up, you're like, I'm not going to drink, let me keep it. I don't know how you get yourself into that same place, going to drink. And then there's always a good thing or a bad thing when you're in addiction. You'll always find ways of drinking, with or without money.
I say, nowadays I try to use that same superpower for good.
Yes.
When you see me getting some crazy guests in front of here, quote unquote celebrities, and people are like, how? I'm like, boss, how
did you even meet them?
I used to make alcohol appear out of thin air.
Yes.
I can use that same
magic.
That same power.
That magic.
That same power. I can use it for good.
Do you know a number of times I could walk in my active drinking, I could walk to big hotel without man and drink and walk out.
Yes.
Those experiences.
I remember you sharing that. You told me you went to some hotel, ordered very confidently,
I could go sit down and order, the ladies there at the counter. I sit on that, the counter place, and you're like, hi, good morning, how are you doing? You good? Yeah. Can I have, and then you were very specific with that confidence. Very specific of what you want.
I'm not Guinness.
Like, you go straight to the point. I need John Walker by bottle. On the rocks with some lemon. If you don't mind.
Makali,
with some coke.
Beers,
man. That's a waste of money.
In Maji it takes too long, man.
Too long to heat. You know what I mean, yeah? So when you order with specifics, that lady will know this is somebody who has it. And then how you present yourself when you're walking to those big hotels. People can judge and say, this is a good guy.
Yes.
You have your phone, a good iPhone, good watch. You sit down with that confidence. Give me John Walker, double black, on the rocks, lemon, and some water. And you end up telling her, take a drink of your choice.
And
take a drink of your choice. And she's like, Oh.
And as the bottle is going down, you're also talking quite a bit.
But you start building something. You want to escape, right?
Yes.
So you start making it as early as possible.
Yes.
So that they don't doubt you or they don't get you when you're almost doing it. So what you start walking out to the washroom with a phone, take a long go and see if they are looking for you, and then come back, sit down, proceed. Order another drink for her or him, whoever is serving you. I remember that guy's name actually. He was called Tobias, and I can't forget.
Tobias,
whenever you are, I'm so.
Tobias, from every other time, Naushad is here. He just wants to make amends.
And then confidently you tell that guy, yeah. And then you walk out on call. Sometimes you make genuine calls, sometimes not genuine calls.
That time you're just literally scoping to see.
Yeah, you're trying out.
And then how far?
You even walk downstairs. The hotel is on the bar is on, I think, second floor. If you know the hotel, I told you the name. So you have to walk down to the parking, then come up again. So even if they are looking at you on the CCTV, you're on call and everything. So they have no doubt with you. So the moment now you are, it's done. You make sure you don't finish that drink. If you finish, we'll come after. So once it's like a quarter or so, you're okay, man, to do, So walk out and go find another place. So you walk out. I walked in from several places.
You know what I used to do?
Yeah.
Because my addiction came even through at some point even when I was doing my training in flight school. Mm-hmm. So which pilot doesn't have a video of them flying? So once in a while I just go show to get credit. By the way, this is me. I'm going cross country. Now the barmaid is thinking, if this guy can fly, surely. Sasa sotano. Quarter mbili.
You could walk with your license or something, or flying, or photos.
Photo, video, just to make sure I have enough social
We're all the same thing, man.
Social capital to get that credit.
Yes.
Let me tell you, the moment I was done, even as I'm leaving, because I'm saying I'm paying tomorrow, so it's not that I'm running away. You will never see me.
They will not question it.
You will never see me again.
He's a pilot.
If it's a street in my neighborhood, you will never.
How do you know we were very? I don't know where that intelligence was coming from.
It was the addiction.
The addiction, man. It was pushing.
Think about the risks if you're caught.
Yeah. If my old passport is well stamped because of my travels. Mm. So if you walk into a bar with it, wanaangalia hivi, hii ni visa ya wapi?
Denmark, India.
These guys are like, oh, really? He's a well-traveled guy. So to them, you're a loaded guy.
Yeah.
In your pocket, you wish they knew. You wish they knew. So when they look at that I used to go actually, and you just place it on the table like, I'm so well-traveled, yeah. And then you get alcohol, and they end up even buying for you. Some of the places, and then you know how we used to act. You're a good friend, you make friends, then you can do it on credit, day in, day out. Like, I don't know, man.
You even build a credit line. So the first 2-3 times you honor it, knowing that you're coming for the big one.
Yeah.
This time, usually you take quarters, but this time I've come for 2 mzingas.
Yeah, one thing I learned is, usionge mob. Wikuwa mtuko chilled, they know you, they fear you, they don't know who you are, you're quiet. Man, that was a crazy life. Back to the story. Now I get to Rongai police station, and then they sorted. I don't know how they sorted it. I was brought back. I was told pack for 30 days, and now we can't reach director. We have to go to Lower Kabete. And then I walk into Lower Kabete. In my mind, I thought I'm going to get into rehab, get some meds.
Were you in a green shirt or a red shirt?
Hey, bro, do I even remember?
A red shirt, shorts, a grey shorts, cargo pants. I remember. And I remember you kept scratching your hair like,
where am I?
Yeah, where am I?
How did I get myself here?
And the first statement
But you know the good thing was, I was ready for that life. I was ready to walk that journey. I wanted it to come my way.
I remember you found us sharing, and the first thing you said is, hi, my name is Naushad. I'm very green. I don't know what to say, but I'm happy to be here. And the rest is history. What was rehab like for you versus what you imagined, even on the path to, even on the drive to the rehab?
First, it crossed my mind, and that's why I say, I remember I told you I hated God. When that crossed my mind that I really need help, and if I can get myself to a rehab, I'll give my all in it. So the following day, I'm called to go to rehab. I'm like, oh. So somebody somewhere is caring about me. And none of the accidents and incidents I could get myself in, some of them could be life-threatening. I could have died. So I remember, one of the directors who used to share with us on every Wednesday.
Yes.
He mentioned that sometimes we hate God so much, but we do not understand him. One thing he does is he could subject you to all these problems and all the things that you wish he could have held you back from doing them, but he keeps you alive.
Yes.
So I'm like, oh, that was my turning point to God again. Like, oh, okay. So I could have died. When I counted the number of accidents I got myself in, I could have died. There are too many. Like, I could count 9 of them at that moment when he was sharing.
And you're thinking sometimes, you're right now you're thinking physical accident, like a car crash.
Yeah.
Or like, but the thing we've been making light of, for example, of perhaps drinking without money. And do you know those guys, if they, let's say you're caught.
At one point I was caught actually. I was stripped naked.
You see?
But it was at night, so I had Oh Lord.
They stripped you butt naked.
Hey! I was left with my boxer and a t-shirt. Shoes gone and trousers gone, man, and my belt. So I had to go home. I was staying
How
at
far
a
was
friend's. Not really far, maybe 2 or so kilometers.
And the funny thing
And
that
not home, my friend's place.
the funny thing with addiction, that's just another badge of honor.
Yeah.
I
walked out.
Another crazy story is like,
I walked out drunk.
I survived it. I still left there drunk. It's like you have a death wish. I remember one of Justin saying, it's like when you're in the throes of addiction, it behaves like you have a death wish.
Yeah.
That's how it manifests.
Yeah,
It's like all caution to the wind.
Yeah.
Some of the things I used to do or we used to do, I cannot. Sometimes I think back and I'm like, guy, and I
can't
cringe.
do it.
And I can
I
imagine
can't do it.
Imagine how your family members were looking at you.
Maze,
This
not
guy's-
even family member. People could tell this is so and so walking naked. Man, you're a grown ass man, bro. How do you even walk naked? Thank God it was late in the evening.
So did a rehab look like what you thought?
No, now at first I even thought kuna dawa ya addiction, so I'm going to get some meds because they mentioned 30 days. In 30 days I'll be okay and walk out free. And when I got there, I met my one-on-one, you know her. Wow, I was told it's a process. It's a process. And at that time, because I was still as green as I said, I couldn't tell. I was waiting for a day to get those meds. Apparently, we were talking about it. The people just come and give you the guidance. This is what you're supposed to do. And the only thing that saved me was the sessions where it was being mentioned, this is a disease. Stop being hard on yourself. There's nothing you're going to do about it. And it's a lifetime disease. I loved that.
And part of
Being told that, contrary to what the society had seen, that I'm a failure,
In fact, that's what I
it's not my fault. After all, anyone can get this disease. And then it comforted me to know that it's hereditary. So you can get it, or you have it. Maybe mine is because I had chokozad it came out and it blew off. And anyone can be sick.
So there's
That alone comforted me.
it's important to say that because there's a genetic predisposition.
Yes.
You're actually predisposed.
Yeah, and when I look at our lineage, I could tell,
You can trace it
then
back.
why are you blaming me?
And then, but important,
Yeah.
in tandem with that, I always say, finding out you're an addict, of course, and that it's a disease is very freeing for the addict.
But
Because,
finding out.
because society has battered you. Society has made you feel like you're you're an irresponsible
the questions
person.
the questions I used to be asked in the society by close friends and relatives. One time when I was married, I was married to a Dan. I lost my marriage. So people could tell, people could say, huyu sasa kama ameacha mpaka mzungu anakuja kutuambia nini. He has lost it in life. It's immoral. That's how they label it.
They chalk it up to like a morality thing.
Morality issue. I'm like, oh. But now when I walked in and my one-on-one counselor tell me, no, this is a disease. Accept. The first step.
Yes,
Accept. Have you accepted? I'm like, yeah. So this is it. And then it took me a month to accept. You remember when I was told I need to introduce myself? My name is Naushad, a recovering alcoholic. I'm like, why am I labeling myself alcoholic, man? I hated that. Yes. But now, through the sessions we had, I started accepting, okay. So I'm an alcoholic. The more I speak about it, the more I accept that I'm an alcoholic. And then now, since I've already been told, I will live so long as I'm alive, I'll have that disease.
You can never drink again.
I can never drink again. There's no like I'm going to give up. And then she told me, Naushad, look at where you're coming from. Look at how you got yourself here. What do you think life has for you? And I told her, I think I'm lucky. There's no human being on earth is going to check. That place was very expensive. Pay all that amount of money for me if I was not worth.
And someone is paying for you, has taken...
That thing, bro, pushed me. And then it got me, not at my try and error moment of drinking. It got me when I was down.
Rock bottom.
Rock bottom, kabisa. The only thing I was waiting was death or somebody who came to help me. So death didn't come. Somebody came to help me. I owe him my life. And he sent, he's a busy guy. You never meet him.
Very busy.
Very busy. You'll never. I used to meet him because I used to go to his place every Tuesday and Friday. So I'll meet him. But you'll never, in kawaida days, you'll never find him. So how on earth did this guy, because I had not even worked there for long. I was barely 6 months or less. How did this guy in his wisdom think to help me and save my life? And why is he spending so much money on me? Then why was I hating on God? God uses this guy to come and save my life. And once he has saved me, that gesture of kindness, it's what I carry with me every day. Those who know me, they know if they need help, I'll be there for them because someone has saved my life before.
I can testify to that. There are times I remember when I was fresh out, I called on you, both in a good way and a bad way. But I want to just emphasize for the listener, especially if you're feeling like maybe you're going through addiction or you're suspecting that you might. When you hear Naushad and you hear myself say that you find out it's a disease and anyone can have it, from that moment, that information does not absolve you of responsibility. In fact, what it does, it bestows you with responsibilities.
Yes. It awakens what you're supposed to do.
Because now you know. I always equate it to something like diabetes. From the moment now you know
things have to change.
There's no you just keep eating sugar, donuts. And because now you have the awareness.
It's the same thing. You remember when we were having that conversation, the moment you know something that you're supposed to do and you do it, I think we were lucky we didn't die because the moment we didn't know, we were given a chance to know. Immediately you know if you get into it, when we read even the big book, those who went back after rehab and knowing, they didn't end up well.
Yes.
We get back to the two things now because after we have three, the institutions,
jail,
institution and dead.
Jails ushaonja.
Man.
Institutions, you're inside.
You're
literally inside it.
Inside.
As you're being told.
Yes.
And then now you start thinking about death, you're like, wow, that was close.
Oh, that was close. That was close. And we're like, yeah. Apparently, now you have left one. You are left one option out of the three. So you have done the two. It's only one left. So the moment you take that decision, you remember the guys we used to hang out with in that place. You're like, oh man, we lost one.
Yes.
And then you start. It's knocking close to you.
And do you know of that guy who passed because we were roommates?
Yeah.
And he was earlier in his journey of acceptance. He was not accepting.
We tried talking to him.
And I remember I'd tell him things and he just denied. But later on, he'd call me randomly. I think I understand what you are saying. I think things were starting to click. Because
unfortunate
I was talking to a colleague of mine recently. Not a colleague where I work, but he's an aviator but jobless because of addiction. And he was trying to cry to me. He's like, I've been divorced, my wife. I'm like, boss, what? Sober no matter what. An addict will create anything. I've been left. So what, if you drink, will it bring them back? I asked him point blank. No, so now drinking, has it brought them back?
You remember the most important thing we were told? If you don't work recovery for you, then you never get it right. If you do it for your wife, you do it for your children, you do it for your parents. Your lover, your job, then you're not doing the right thing.
It has to be for you first.
Remember when I was living rehab, I didn't have a place to go. I was homeless. Because I was staying in a company
accommodation.
House. Yes. So when I went to rehab, my job ended. I was given a letter, I think month 2 into it. I think I shared with you. Hey man, I've lost my job.
I remember.
What am I going to do? Where am I going to go? Man, I don't even have a house. My things have been moved from the company house. Where am I going? And then I was told, come down. And then when the information came, I need to give credit to that, my counselor, my one-on-one. She prepared me for worst. And every moment she was like, she could give me information at the right time. You see, I had already accepted that I'm an alcoholic. There's nothing I'm going to do about it. I had made peace with my God. Because I could have died, but he saved my life. I had made peace with people I met. And then people like you were encouraging so much. You had told me about your stories. And you look at this well-traveled guy again. He has done it. He has failed. He's coming back. And then now it's being rubbed on my face. Remember who paid for you here. You're not even related. If I fuck it up, nobody's going to come and save my life.
There's no other
I'm gone, man. Yeah, I'm gone. So what am I supposed to do after here? So when information is given, I'm like, And that's the moment I lost many friends. So I thought I had friends. Nobody came. There are only 2 guys who came to see me when I was in rehab. So who made it possible to come and say, we are here with you. We'll walk this journey with you. And then at that time, my ex-wife could, sometimes, we had family sessions because...
Hold. I'm gonna bring it to the wife.
Okay. So then... I'll finish
the
the point by saying information came at the right time. Whenever my one-on-one, she could bring something, a new development in my growth, I think she was following my steps.
Yes.
And then I was also quick to learn and accept because that's what life had given. And remember, I was in my 30-something years.
Yes.
So you are old enough to think about life. And then here I am given a chance to do life again. Remember, I'd given up.
That's like a divine intervention.
Yes. So you're like, I know who God is. I know what he needs from my life. I know who I am. And then I do not have myself to blame. The only responsibility I have is to remain sober and protect my sobriety and recovery. Just that.
And
anything else.
COVID caught us in there. Do you know COVID?
Week 2
Do you know
of my stay.
Do you know if COVID caught us outside? No. Either we'd not be here or we'd be
True.
like me.
I will either dead or...
Me, I think I was 3rd week.
Yeah.
And then this
I was 1 week.
funny virus comes. Yes. And we're hearing about COVID. We're watching it on...
Borders closed.
We're watching it on TV.
Yeah, I remember when you were saying, I could not even be flying out here if it came.
Me, I know for a fact if COVID caught me outside, I would not have survived.
Me too. That's a fact.
I would have either been beaten to death by police or thugs or
jail or
because lockdown ni wewe.
Ni unaniambia nikae kwa nyumba aje.
Lockdown is for you.
Go lock yourself up, not me.
and I'm sure many addicts didn't survive COVID.
True. You know that. You know that.
Just by...
It was way high.
Because when lock calls you, it doesn't...
Hey, bro, you'll do anything. Do you know how far we could walk to get booze? I remember in Denmark, there's the nearest town, where I was living to city center, how do you call it? The capital city, yes. Copenhagen, is where you can get fun. Bro, I could find my ways there.
I'm glad you...
With no money. Like you just walk with the card, the transport
yes.
card that you get, the car card. And then my wife then could be worried about me when I'm going to get back home.
No, I'm glad you brought this up because one looming thing when we were in rehab together was, of course, you're a father.
I was crying.
And you love your son so much. Nesta.
I have 2 sons, yeah.
2 sons, right?
Yeah.
But
I talk about Nesta so much because the first son is
that was
a story.
Yes, Nesta.
Yeah.
And your wife is Danish.
Yes.
And I remember at the time, you guys were divorced or... Months and months of entertainment and you haven't subscribed. This is blasphemy. You think I do this for free? It is your duty. Subscribe. Every other time with Eric. Continues. At the time, were you already divorced?
Yeah.
Or you were going through like a...
What? I had just come back because shit happened. I was drinking way too much.
What happened in Denmark? Talk about it a bit. What happened in Denmark?
Okay, this now has to go a year before I went to Denmark to stay with them. And I met my wife in 2014 when I had a very bad accident. I'd gone to Denmark in 2014, work-related, to do a training. Then that time, I used to work with an NGO, an international NGO, and I was posted in Tanzania. So we used to have that training you have to attend in the HQ, then you come back, go to your So when I went there again, for that training, I had just reported to work. I had not even gotten my salary. I fucked up in Denmark during the day. Drink and never go to class. But then again, maybe God's favor or me being good at what I do, I was given an opportunity to proceed. I did that. When I was coming back, I think the Tanzania government had changed from Mkapa to Kikwete. From Benjamin Mkapa to Kikwete. So Kikwete came with that policy that every foreigner or how do you call them, expats who works there, they need to reapply for their work permit. So when it got in between there, the organization said, why are we worried? I mean, why are we going to pay a lot of money to reapply for him? And we can post him in in the Kenyan office. So I was told to come back to the Kenyan office. That's how I got to Denmark, and I liked it. But I didn't meet my wife there. When I came back in 2014, that time now, after coming back to Kenya from Denmark, I get myself jobless because the opportunity that I was supposed to take up was already given out. Mine was saved for Tanzania. But I don't know what communication, how it happened, but I lost my job that way. So I got back to my drinking. In my drinking, I had an accident, a very bad accident.
Car or bike?
It was a car accident. So when I was actually drinking somewhere along Ngong Road. So yeah, I got my bad accident because it happened far, far away. Kamundo Road, so far away. I had actually gotten lost in my way home. So then when I have my accident, now we were in talks with her. We were in communication with her. To patana to through a mutual friend, communication. Then she came back to the country. When she came back, she took care of me when I was down. And then 2015, we have our son, Nesta.
You took care of her as well.
It happened that you had to.
Do you mind sharing a picture we put on the skin of your lovely son?
No. I will.
This is Nesta here on
and
the
that's
screen.
why I call myself NESTA33. So
Yes,
it's a long story.
It's important. Huh?
You remember I called you yesterday, like, hey, have you done episode 33? If not, I'll come for the episode 33. So, when I come back, now this is 2015, I need to hustle, got it. 2015, I got a job. 2016, got another job out of the country, went to, how do you call this country? In Asia, Bangladesh.
Yes.
I worked there for a year. Then we had separated because of my drinking.
Bangladesh is where you told me you drank some very
Ooh, that was almost the turning point. We need to talk about it fully.
potent liquor. You told me you drank liquor that had you on the floor.
I don't know if I'm going to share pictures of those experiences. It was crazy, bro. There's nothing
Please share.
I don't know if there's anything that I've not done with alcohol. You know that. Mixing alcohol with coffee, mixing alcohol with every little thing you can think of. And then in Bangladesh, it's a good job, well-paying job. In fact, I was on two salaries: my home country salary and the foreign country salary. So I was well loaded. So we will get to good.
No, we'll get to Bangladesh.
We'll get to get that.
We're still.
Yeah. So
Nesta is born.
Yeah, Nesta is born. Celebrate as a father. You need to man up. Stop the fuck out. Why are you jobless? I got my job. My job at Westgate as a waiter. Worked there. Fucked up at work, but I was forgiven because I was good at work. I could drink at work.
So this is another recurring theme with addicts: above average talent and just ability. So the number of times you're hearing Naushad being forgiven and because we're good with people. One,
you're good at what you do,
and then you're good at what you do.
You excel.
So people will give you. Now, why are you chomaing? What's wrong with you?
The number of times I remember most of my immediate bosses could look at me and they're like, you know what, Naushad? I don't know what to do with you. You're so good at what you do, but look at what you're doing. Now, what am I going to do with you? If I'm going to give you another chance, the head office is going to think like, I'm protecting you, and there's nothing I'm benefiting from you. So what am I going to do with you? I could see one of the managers cry. Like, you're so good in what you're doing. Because when I left Bangladesh, I came to Kenya, got posted in Nanyuki. I was doing a good job there to revive a national youth body that was formed there to work with that was a branch of the organization. Bro, I brought it here. I gave it fame. Now, when my boss is looking at what I have done, and what I am doing with my drinking. Now she cried.
Because it doesn't line up.
How do I do it?
It doesn't line up.
One day you wake up with a black eye. you show up at work with
even I remember you present yourself, you do something, and the second time you're meeting someone around, they're like, "No, I don't know this person.
I don't know this guy.
Who is this?
This guy?"
Yeah.
And then they get confused. If they don't understand the addiction, you will forgive them. You will forgive them. So they could get like, do I fire him? If I fire him, look at all the things he has done. Look at the partners he has brought on the table. Like, look at the people that he has invited back after our lost glory. You know? And then they are told, like, we're giving you one last chance.
Was your son something that made you start thinking?
Yeah, when my ex was pregnant, that shook me a bit. I need to man up. Because I'd lost my firstborn had gone with my baby mama. I didn't have that time. And I said, this is now what I'm going to protect, to be a father and to be a dad, to be a husband. So I could do anything possible. And at that time, I had to get money to move out to Denmark. So that's why I looked for a job. So when God opened ways, I got a job in Bangladesh. I got money. I started flying in out to Denmark. See them any other time I want, because I had money that time.
What is the drinking culture in Denmark?
Nobody cares what you do. It's your life. Choose what you want to do.
Everyone with their own...
Yeah, nobody cares about who you are. You can walk butt naked. Nobody cares.
Is it a beer culture or a spirit culture?
For them, I think it's a beer culture. Because there are 3 things I found out that were interesting in Denmark.
We'll put some pictures here right now.
I will.
Naushad making merry.
Man! and then now, worst was, I don't know why things used to fall in place. My ex-father-in-law, now we call them, used to have a brewing machine. So he used to brew.
Oh, no.
Yeah, imagine. And he had a full store, the size of your studio, full of every beer you can imagine of. And then he used to have those, he collects the spirits, then puts some herbs, some Danish herbs, then leaves them for ages. As it ages, you know what happens to it. So I used to drink. I had the access.
You're a tester.
Hey, man. And then I could tell, nini. So I could drink.
Did they realize your drinking was a bit
man.
different?
Because now you black out at some moment, and then you become a nuisance in family meetings. You fuck up to a woman, they don't want to see you. And then they are ashamed in family meetings. So it got out of hand. And then she was like, nah, we can't do this.
Did your son ever pick up on this?
No, he didn't see
me
drunk.
Met,
he was young.
He was quite a young.
He was young, yeah. He didn't see.
But
2016 was 1 year old. 2018, I was back to Denmark. 2018, it was how many years? 3 years.
Yes.
Yeah, but I wasn't drinking when he's awake.
But I remember...
But there are several times we could have arguments with my wife in the house and he could hear. And he's like scared. You could see him close his ears. It was just fucked up.
Because when we were in rehab, I remember one of your pain points was, I think you attempted a reconciliation with your ex-wife.
Yeah, we were doing family sessions, you know them?
Yes.
With my one-on-one.
Telephonically, eh?
Yeah. It was great. She had her number, so we could talk. She actually even came to the picture.
Important to say for the viewer is that when you're in rehab, also part and parcel of the whole recovery process, along the line, you also start having family therapy where the family who care enough or are stakeholders, you try and start building and making amends, and also trying to create a plan for once the person exits the facility. And of course, in a case where someone is a father and you have a child together, it was always worth it to give it a go.
The wife, and then it's also good to mention that it's a family disease.
Yes.
People need to understand that.
Yes.
Since it's a family disease, you have to include people that are affected directly or indirectly. So if they're ready to work with you in that journey, it was. But then I hated that moment because I still had resentment, to her. But with time, we started giving up. Then before we finished it all, when we got together, I had not mentioned that I had another child with another baby mama. So I had kept it knowing that I've protected my love of the day, because if bringing up your past baggage, you're going to maybe scare her away. So I said, tutacheza safe hapa ni Kenya na Denmark, atajuaje.
That lie has a point of no return. I've heard from
it's actually what ended my relationship.
Because I hear when you start, when it's still like, should I tell her? But inafika point, it's been a year and you haven't told, it's already a lie.
It was actually 6 years because I was with her for 6 years.
6 years.
I didn't mention it until she knew. Now that my baby mama, my firstborn mama, reached out on Facebook to her and she told it all. And then one day we were actually at the the living room. We were watching something on a Sunday, some music, I think. Miles were dancing. So then I got a message. Sundays is when we were being given phones.
Sunday evening we had the phone for 2 hours.
Yeah, for 2 hours. So when I'm having my phone and then I get her texting, who is my son's name now? Who is so and so? I'm like, my sister's son is my sister's son is also called that name. I'm like, that's my sister's son. You know him? No, stop playing stupid. You know what I'm asking about. And then she went quiet. And that's how the family sessions ended. That's how we stopped talking. That's how it ended. And then now it started eating me up after rehab. Like, I'm going to make peace with my wife at that moment. I was ready to make amends. But now it became so difficult because she was also bitter and started resenting to me because 6 years in marriage and you have not mentioned that you have a child somewhere and I'm coming to know it from a different source, then it means I'm not going to trust you anymore. And then that thing also ate me up.
I remember when we met after. Yeah, but I wanna touch on this because you know, all the times people think there's some grand plan when you leave rehab. I remember Nesta, Naushad here, Nesta here, left rehab with 0.
No place to go.
0. So people usually leave or assume people have a plan when you leave rehab. And you left rehab. I remember you went to initially
halfway,
temporarily at the halfway house. And I don't want to I don't want to say negative things, but I've shared it on a public platform what my thoughts about that situation.
Yeah, and if you're not careful, you'll go back to where you come from.
Very easy to go back. So the rehab facility was fantastic in terms of the services they offered.
Yeah.
But I feel the halfway setup was just and
I also didn't like it. Do you know I moved out of that place 5 a.m.?
You moved
I
yourself
told you. I told you. 5 a.m. because that place was just fucked up. I know whoever took me there had good intentions, but I will always say it wasn't the right environment. Having come from rehab, especially on my own case, I didn't expect myself to get myself in such a setup. You know, there are some guys who are drinking, smoking, doing all those stuff. Yes. I'm like, yeah, man.
You can easily
when I go, you can easily get, and we have seen many who are doing it.
I am one of them.
You're one of them. They started to be counted. And then one of our friends who went to Qatar, you remember?
Yes.
He fucked up there.
Yes.
I met him the other day.
I met him when I was getting married and I was preparing my AG documents. I met him there with his fiancée at the time. Also trying to arrange for his...
Yeah. He was doing great until recently. Last year, sometime towards the end of last year, when things went down south. But I went, saw him, met the family. We tried to help. He's doing better now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you left the halfway at 5 a.m.
Yeah, man, that place wasn't friendly. And then I also didn't like the way the management was taking things. And then, remember when I walked there, there's a young teen boy who was now the head of the facility.
Yes.
Like, how do you explain to me? I've seen things wrong. I'll want them to be done in the correct way. But that guy doesn't listen to me.
I remember that.
And I'm telling him, yo, dude, tell this guy to behave in a certain way. No, he's fine. No, we're looking into it.
And that guy was like, what? He was like 16, 15.
Was he even 16, really, bro?
And he had that
he was so young. He
Kiburi.
was in school
Yes,
or something.
Yes.
Why was he there in the first place?
He was causing trouble in school, so a fellow alumni of one of the directors.
But then giving him such a responsibility gives him the kiburi.
I remember he was talking to us. I used to look at him like, boss,
Hey, dude, who are you?
Do you know how old you are?
Yeah, but at first he was a good friend of mine. But then things started happening weirdly. And then I started losing some of the few things I had. Like I go to work, come back, I don't find one of my things. When I'm asking, nobody wants to take responsibility. When I report it to the management, they're like, oh, you need to know how to survive. But then you're taking me back to the survival mode, man. I'm the best when it comes to surviving. I'll survive with everything here. Go.
So you left at 5 a.m.
Yeah, I woke up one day. I went to... Remember, my things were moved to my sister's place. While I was in rehab. So I woke up, I went to my sister's place, but now COVID had moved her up country and she left back her husband. So the hubby was the only one at home. And they were jengaing that time. So she was home to look up to things because she's a teacher. So they were not in school. So then I call her. I'm like, yo, man, this place is just fucked up. I don't know what I'm going to do because I don't have a place to go. Don't have a place. And she's like, just come to my place. Nobody's home. Because the hubby works sometimes at night, sometimes during the day. And she's like, just come to my place as you look for a place to go and call home. And I'm like, at that time, you know how difficult it is. You're a father, somebody, you're going back to your sister's place.
So I remember you shared with me on phone about how it felt. What is in your mind about
man,
what you're going to do?
But then I was determined. When I left, I was just ready. Because I had made peace with myself, I had made peace with God, I had made peace with my disease, I had made peace with my family. So the only thing I was waiting for, let God bring what he wants to bring to me. And I was ready to face anything and do anything. So the two or three friends who I told you who were keeping tabs on me, they were ready to help. One of them actually visited me at the rehab. We met in town. He asked for my CV. He wanted to do everything possible for me to get occupied. But remember, COVID had just disrupted everything and it was still in existence at that time. So no company, rather organization, because I'm into NGO things, so much social work and community development, nobody wanted such a services. But he said if he gets an opening, he'll call me. We had a good talk. And then remember, before I got to where the director took me to rehab's company, I was working somewhere. So where I was working, we were doing again delivery. So this guy had recommended me to my director because he was closing down his company.
Yes.
But when COVID hit, remember now, the only required services were delivery.
Deliveries, yes.
So he reopened his company and he needed more human resource. He wanted some guys to do the deliveries. Then he's like, ukitoka tu wewe nitafute. So I met him also. And he didn't have enough bikes for me to use. He hired a bike for me. And then he told me, now make sure you pay this guy $350 per day. And then the company also needs its cut, and then the rest is yours to keep.
And apart from just being able to do deliveries and earn a living from it, because I remember when we speak on phone, your tone changed, and even today when we speak, there's something about riding and you.
Yeah, I love it.
That means something. Talk about that a bit. What is riding for you?
It's so therapeutic to me. And when you grow in the riding, it gives you sense of discipline. You know, you can't ride the bikes that I ride while high. And I had an experience hitting. Remember hitting a police officer with a bike?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's one thing. And then part of the things I love the most is riding and football. So those two are the ones that keeps me going.
Hopefully not Man City.
Look at this dude.
Yeah. Man U. Manchester United. So there's something I draw. There's that energy. There's that energy that I draw from riding. It again gives me the freedom. You know, when you're on a bike, I can decide to stop anywhere. If I see something interesting, I'll stop and do. If I want to go from point A to B, I'll do it. And again, it gives me the thrill. The
Adrenaline.
Man, that feels
Do you think we're adrenaline junkies in a way as addicts? Because
I think so, because there's something we were chasing. There's something we were chasing in our drinking, right? So the moment you find something that is going to give you more an equivalent of that, it felt nice for me. It felt home. But remember, I started riding Kitambo Sana,
Yes.
2005. That's when I started riding. So getting back to get that bike and do delivery for 1 year gave me a different feeling. I was moving from place to place, and that is what gave me a different mentality. When we were doing deliveries, I did literally every street of Nairobi and the metropolis. I know every place. And the places I could go to and make deliveries, bro, it was challenging me. Remember, I'm fresh from rehab. I could go to a very beautifully built homestead, a very good home, a very good estate, I needed that fine touch thing, you know. Then I'm like, wow, somebody lives here. What are they doing with their life for them to to be here. Remember, I had seen it all with my working. I've traveled, I've
Yes.
seen good things, I've lost everything. And I'm here again, start seeing those good of life because I've been given an opportunity. And then now bike gave me that opportunity to travel and see and meet people. I could see good people, I've met bad people, I've met, every person. So as I'm riding with this borrowed, rather hired bike, I now started saving to buy my own stuff so that I wanted to move out of my sister's place as quickly as possible. I think I shared with you, man.
Yeah.
I can't wait for a day I'm going to move out.
As
and
a
stay.
man,
As
yeah.
a man, and then as a father. Now you're asking myself, if my son comes and finds me in this place, what am I going to do? What am I supposed to say? There's that pride that get deflated as a man when you get yourself at that lowest moment. But I never gave up because out of love, my family gave me an opportunity to get a footing. So then I gave my all.
Sorry, stop there. Important to say, because sometimes also your ego can block you from your blessing. If you find yourself coming out of a hard situation, and it's not just specific to addiction, if someone offers you a hand of help, have the humility to take it.
Yeah.
Don't take it at now, of course, forever.
Yeah.
Always, of course, have ambition to pivot to your own independence. But don't be too proud to take help when you need it.
Maze,
The-
but
the-
also, you remember when we were in active drinking, sometimes somebody could want to help you, like, you already shown me. I know
Yes,
better.
yes.
I know
And that's ego.
Yes.
There's no dignity in homelessness.
Never.
Yeah.
Bro, I was in the street. I can't wish anyone to be in the street. Remember, I was telling you natembea kwa ATM machines. Nipate tu joto.
Man,
Because, the, how do you call the kanjo seats? The metal, metal, eh?
Yes.
So how do you even sleep on a metal, bro, the wee hours of the morning? It's damn cold. That thing, kama sikupata pneumonia, God loves me again.
There was a time I had chomed everything, but I still had my vehicle, but I'd crashed it, dented it. It was basically unserviceable because I didn't have money for fuel, but I didn't have a home. And where the car was parked, I was not allowed to enter. So I was basically homeless. And this is not for long. This is like for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You guy, night is cold. I remember I was sleeping at a petrol station. I was woken up by my own trembling.
Maze,
As in...
several times, you are shaking. I have to run to an ATM machine. And I don't even know how I could think that ATM itakuwa warm. But that's the only place you can go because at night, hotels are closed. It is in Machakos where I was homeless. So hotels are closed. Machakos is a small town.
Yes.
So literally everything just goes, they close around 8, 9 latest. So you can't go to a club, you don't have money, the way you look. And then I had just come from Denmark when I was homeless. So I had carried summer clothes only. Sikuwa na nguo za kujifunika. So ni short, t-shirt, na nilikuwa na kajaketi kamoja. Imagine.
And homelessness also has a... I remember having muscle aches.
I'm even feeling that shivering like, oh man.
I remember having muscle aches all over my body
You
because
can't even feel your body.
you've not rested well for... There's no time to melala for
Aje.
melala hapa na pale, literally.
And then I avoided going to one ATM because they could suspect me because I'm not withdrawing money anyway. Do I even have money? By the time you find yourself in the street, you have nothing. You're depleted everything you had. So I have to walk. Today, if I'm going to this ATM, you're walking to the next one, and then you spend like 5 minutes. That's enough, man, to get that. I always feel bad when I see the street kids making it.
So you started buying things one by one.
So yeah, I started buying things. And then when I got that opportunity now, it was...
Hope you're enjoying this episode so far. I just wanted to mention that this episode is brought to you by Grace Stays. Grace Stays is your solution for any travel down south. If you're going to Diani, I want you to think Grace Stays. For all your travel solutions in Diani, if you're looking at accommodation, if you're looking at expeditions, different packages, looking for homestay, if you're looking for private chef, they have the best deals, the best packages for you. If you're thinking Diani, I want you to think Grace Stays. We're going to be putting up all the details on the screen right now. This episode is proudly brought to you by Grace Stays. Amazing product, amazing people. Every Other Time with Eric, proudly sponsored by. Back to the episode.
It was a well-paying job at that moment because delivery was everything. Nobody was allowed to move because COVID is here. So we did a lot. And then, again, being good at what I am, most clients for the company preferred my services. So every time they call the office, they'd be like, send Naushad away. like tutumie rider tuma Naushad kuna kitu fulani anataka tufanyie.
Yeah.
So and then now I got to know many clients. We built a very good friendship and rapport with the clients. Slowly we started becoming friends with some of the clients, and before I knew it, I was getting direct calls from now the clients, because if they call the office is too packed for me. Ataenda wapi ache wapi, wachana na yeye. So when clients started reaching out in person, I'm like, okay, so I can do it. And that's how I started my first company. So I moved from the company. I took a loan. I mean, I went to the how do you call them, these microfinance guys who finance bikes. I paid a deposit of 15,000. I had, I think, like 10,000. So my mom gave me like 5,000. Got the deposit, went, bought a bike. Got a bike, came, started doing my delivery. Now, instead of repaying that guy, hiring the bike, I was paying the loan. And then now I started saving good money, moved out. Immediately I got pesa ya rent too. Nilitoka. Rent, deposit. And then I got into a chama, the bike guys. So I got into the chama ya boda. We started getting money. So I had a goal on what to do. Immediately I was paid my chama with my small savings. I moved out. When I was moving out, and then a friend comes and says, "Maze kuna shamba inauzwa mahali. I will want you to come and see if you can do it." I'm like, am I going to do it really? I'm like, yeah, why not? And I tried it. And that's how I started building. And then before I knew it, my house was becoming smaller and I was growing, and I moved out of that. My company was doing great. So while at Halfway House, one of my very best friends bought me one of the sport bikes. The first sport
He
bikes.
bought you a bike?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, he's like, yo, go find what you want now. And I'm like, yeah. Then I got that sport bike. Now brought me into the community, the biking community.
And at some
because
point,
now you can identify me.
Yes. And at some point, first of all, I want you to show your logo to the camera.
Oh yeah, it's
That's NESTA33. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Because
I prefer it being said NESTA33.
NESTA33.
Yeah.
The reason I bring this up is, and as I'm following your story, I'm also remembering how we'd communicate.
Yeah.
And every time I'd speak to you, you had made such astronomical strides. Somewhere along the line after that specific rehab stint, I relapsed again. I decided
I remember you told me that.
I decided to go on one last rodeo. And I even borrowed a G from him that...
it was more than a G.
And I remember... it was more than a G?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man.
It's fine, man.
I remember on...
you are the last person I could ever thought of relapsing, because you are my mentor. Literally, I was looking up to you. You talked so nicely and good stories. I'm like, yo, bro, mi nimefika mwisho, man. Once I get out of this place, my flying, man, it's going to hit.
And that was 2 years... Just about to, I just landed a job. I was literally on the cusp of going for training, which I ended up going, and it ended up being a very weird experience. But that was my last rodeo with booze.
Yeah,
crazy time. But that's a story I've shared on a different platform. So I remember, I remember noticing. One minute this guy is talking about, I'm doing deliveries for this guy. Hapana pale. I've started my own thing. I moved out.
I even registered it. In fact,
I have a sport bike. Then I'm racing.
Man,
talk about the racing because Naushad has sent me clips of, I don't know if I can say this on air.
Yeah, it's fine. Of
speeds on a bike that to me are just insane. So how did you get into racing? Because racing,
when I got
racing has a leisure. Now it's no longer the bike.
It's a sport.
The bike for you has been earning money.
Yeah.
Now this is now the fun, leisurely, adventurous side of biking.
I think God aligned my stars in a good way, that I'll do what I love and I get paid. Do you know, even riding, sometimes I'm paid to ride. Companies can bring in new units. I'm hired as a brand ambassador to do that, to ride their bikes and test them, market them out there. So that's how good God has been to me. Like, you get such opportunities to do anything to do with bikes. So how I got into the limelight in the biking, I was let me just ride my bike and do my deliveries. On Monday to Saturday, I'm riding for delivery. I'm still paid to ride. On Sunday, we used to go, when you buy what we have in a community, the biking community, we have different brands of bikes, have their specific groups where they talk about the bike, and that. And when I got that bike from a friend, I joined the company. I mean the group. I joined the group, and then I found it's a grown group, man, a good community, loving community. And because I always do me, I'll do the best. I got into the community, got my bike, get back to where I told you, I started riding kitambo sana, 205. I was working in a company, Yakuza bikes and spare parts and all those things. So I knew I was very good at bikes and I understand everything bikes. So we have the same brand and capacity, CC. It's a 200 bikes. But I could do an extra to give more power to my bike.
Yeah.
So every time we used to meet, we used to race. Like tunashindana, bike ya nani itatoa mwingine itafanya nini. But now because I had now hacked how to do it, my bike was the best. Was always to look up to bike.
So you tuned your bike?
Yes. So mtu atakuja ulize, kama Banesta amekuja, mimi sioni nikienda. And then when people we meet for rides, we just ride and then akuzileza, people will come and ask, hii bike yako umefanyia nini? Because it's not kawaida that this bike is supposed to be this fast.
Put some pictures here of Banesta with his community.
Yes. So when they started inquiring, and I'm like, if you want it, I can do it. But I can do it on Sunday. Remember, I have my other company that I'm doing the deliveries. So
where did you get the know-how of tuning?
I worked with the who is who with that back then. Yeah, and then I'm always, if I want to do something, I'll do it. If I want to know something, you know me.
That's true.
I'll go for it. I'll spend time. I'll do everything and know it. So when I was working there, I used to see how the mechanics were doing. Nobody taught me. By observation, this is what is done, and then now you know the ratio of like the drive set, how you're supposed to increase, what it takes for the bike to have more power, all those things. So when I learned about it by observation, and sometimes you learn, you ask yourself, if this is done, what is the end result of the bike? So my bike was performing best in our category in the streets when we go for rides. So when somebody asks me, I'm like, I'll do it. I'll do it for your bike, no problem. But then I'm busy from Monday to Saturday, come on Sunday. But Sunday, I also need to go for rides because napenda ride too. That's the only thing I had. My wife had left me, niko job. That's the only time I can get now. Niko busy. Then I get to so demand started becoming too much. So somebody's like, nitengenezea yangu pia, ulitengenezea fulani alinifanya hivi. So what are we supposed to do? I only got Sunday and I can only work on one bike. So
not pro bono though.
No, they were appreciating. At that time they were appreciating because I didn't even know it's going to give me money. You get. So I could do it. They pay for expenses. If I'm buying something, they pay for it. And then if I make, there are good guys who will give you a G here, 2Gs, 5Gs. Like, thank you so much for the bike. And then they go your way. Monday, I'm back to work. On Sunday, we do that and we ride and I test bike iko sawa. So I started realizing people come from as far as Embu.
Word is spreading.
Yeah, like, nifanye vile ulifanya ya fulani. And then my bike, probably at that time, it was, mimi nilikuwa naipenda sana, and then people loved it. It started trending. That time nilikuwa naita Brenda. So I got the demand was just skyrocketing. What do? I have business to do. Then you can get Eric wants his bike tuned. What do you do to Eric? I'm like, Monday is available, but Eric is ready to pay pesa unatengeneza that Monday. So people were asking, okay, how much do you want? Name the price. I'm like, utalipa ido? Yeah, why not? I'll even pay more if you can do it on Monday because I'll come from Meru. Somebody will tell you I'm from Nanyuki, I'm from Kisumu, I'm from so and so. What do? So you'll go for the chums.
You have to now start
restructuring. How do you do? But then I started finding out that I'm failing my delivery clients. Ndafanyaje? Our kili once a letter dropped in a court or something. I had very good clients who were delivery. So I didn't want to let them down. So I got into my a self-made dispute and conflict. What do I do? And then before long, now I started looking for somebody who can help me either in bike or delivery. Then I got two. Tunafanya naye delivery. One guy we were doing with him delivery. The other guy we were doing with him the tuning. I showed some few things what he was supposed to do. But still, it was too much for me. I had to choose one.
You reach that fork in the road.
Yeah, man. What do you do? So I realized into bikes, I love it so much. There's nothing that gives me that satisfaction as when I've worked on somebody's bike. I've done this on the bike. That one gives me a good satisfaction. And then you ride with that guy, he appreciates, and it was paying better. So then I got someone I left the company for. He continued, and then I started. And then I got a space from a friend. And then we shared a space with a friend. And that's how we got one bike, grew to 2 to 3. And now we're here, a big brand, NESTA33.
Well done, man.
It's a big brand right now. As we speak, I have a community that I'm
Put all the
putting,
slogans on the screen so that people can see.
It's actually called your bike's clinic.
Yes.
Because what I ideally do is just do that. And then what helped me is, my integrity and honest work. I'll do what you want. And it's in a shortcut. If it's possible, it will be possible. I'll ask for the right time. So my clients already know. If you're going to Banesta, you want some paint work or restoration, this is the period.
No shoddy jobs.
Usikuja uniambia, I've turned away such a guys. Nataka kesho kuna mahali naenda kuuza hii bike, so you need to have it ready. Naenda kwingine.
And
so it's all about referrals.
Periodically when we talk with Naushad on the phone, the other day you said something to me that perhaps in your community is normal, but to a non-rider is not normal. You said every day you have to do 200 licks, minimum.
Oh yeah, that day when I was telling you.
200 kilometers every day.
I would have to ride, man.
And 200 kilometers, guys, this is not as he's doing his things around. This is now after the day. the way people go for a walk or a drive.
You need to ride.
You do a 200 kilometer ride, minimum. Where are you going?
Nowhere in specific. Do you know there is no road I've not rode in Nairobi and its environs? Hakuna. Sometimes I can sit down and say, ni wapi sijaenda, ni wapi. So sometimes I ask myself, how many times have I gone to this route? I mean, we are chasing that therapy and
are you doing crazy speeds or are you safe?
I'm okay.
Because I think the reason we have this here, one, of course, it's really cool, but also just to emphasize safety. And people who ride get a bad rep. Non-riders look at people who ride as there's a negative connotation attached.
Not all of them, though.
Thrill seekers. Yeah. For the longest time, because my younger bro is a big biker, big time. And he's one who sensitized me over time, like, we're actually a very disciplined group of people. Very. Don't confuse us with Nduthi guys. Yes. Yeah, there's a misnomer around the fact that people, you'll see guys, 30 guys riding, you think, hey, Anu Levi, Ama, they are goons, you have dreads. So what are some of the things you'd like to demystify about bikers to my audience?
I mean, we have different categories of bikers. There are people who just use their bikes to commute. They want to move from point A to B by their bike because it's convenient, remember? I can decide what time to go. If you're using a matatu, you'll be stuck in traffic. Sometimes people don't like that matatu setup. If you're using your own car, you'll be stuck. If we live from here to town with you, my bike and your car, we all know who will get to town mapema. Sometimes you need, some of us like me, it's just a passion. I love riding. I don't have a reason as to why I should not ride. Neither do I have a reason as to why I should ride. So for me, getting to a bike, go work on a bike, go for a ride, it's what keeps me going. I love it. And then with time, you realize that I have to ride because there are several people who look up to me. What are you doing? What have you done as a ride this month? Where are you going? I have a huge following. Sometimes I let them down because I don't share on YouTube. I'm not good in content. I tried, but it's not my thing.
You're in the right place.
Yes. Maybe I give you share them because I have done enough rides, bro.
What does the community element in bikers do? What's all that about? What's the community element about?
We are drawn from different classes. You cannot say this is what we do, but when you come together as a community, you will definitely have a shared vision and common objective, what you want to achieve. We have a national body of the private bikers. Then we have it devolved to what we call nyumba kumis, where you meet, talk about bike safety and what you can do. We all also go as far as giving back to the community. We have events that are organized for the private bikers. We have different things that brings us together to strengthen and empower. And then of course now we have so many people who admire getting into biking. We need to set a good example. Some of us have been in the game for a good time. So how do you encourage others if you have not organized yourself in a way people can see? We are prone to accidents. If you are not united and together, how do we know Eric has a problem X somewhere we need to help? So that you need to belong to a family, so that if anything happens, you're easily accessible. We can reach out to you. We know if it's along Langata Road, so and so is along that place. We built a very good network. And then out of the network again, as I said, we come from different backgrounds, professional and others. So if you need something from someone, you know who to contact. Like I want to fly to Malindi, I know who to contact. If I had a pilot. If you want to go to Kisumu, I have a host. If I want service X in Mombasa, I have a contact there. So we just want to be there for one another, build the brotherhood, and grow. So getting back to what you asked about racing, having done everything possible in riding on the street.
What's the farthest you've gone before you tell us about racing?
Oh, farthest. I think Zanzibar.
You've ridden to Zanzibar?
Yes.
How long does that take?
For me, I don't ride for destination purpose. I ride to enjoy. But when I left Nairobi via Namanga, I went to Arusha, spent a night in Arusha, rode 600 plus kilometers to Dar es Salaam.
With a crew or solo?
Solo. I got to Dar es Salaam, checked in, went to Zanzibar, spent a day or two, then came back. Now, when I was coming back, actually, I rode from Zanzibar to Nairobi same day. It was crazy. Yeah. It was around 900 and something kilometers. We can check.
900 kilometers?
Yes. And then I've also done Marsabit and back. I'm not telling people to do that.
Why is that? Is it harrowing?
Man, it's not a good experience. It's not a good experience.
Terrain
but no, terrain. Yeah, all factors constant. It's tiresome. Yeah, it needs a lot of endurance. It needs a lot of endurance, and then you need to have balls to do it. Just don't wake up and do Marsabit and back from Nairobi. That's crazy. I've also done Moyale.
So no ladies.
Ladies. Figuratively speaking. So anyway, that is being noticed.
On a very light note. Well, all
the lightest of the notes.
All inclusive.
Yes. So I've also done Ethiopia. I've done Entebbe, Kampala, and back. Jinja. That was the best ride. But
we're gonna put pictures of all this on the screen so people can see.
Yeah. Entebbe. I just didn't like Kampala.
Why is that?
It's crazy. It's crowded. It's busy. That place is chaotic, bro. I could see bodas at one given point. Unaweza fikiria ni mkutano. There are so many of them, but thank God I didn't see any accident.
Are you sampling the culture in all these places? Are you stopping to taste good food?
I do all those. I'll want to experience different cultures. I'll want to ride in different roads. I'll want to meet new people. I'll want to experience different countries. I'll also want to do the extraordinary things. Let's not be a kawaida guy. Just travel, do it. Somebody will say, oh, Moyale, it's not safe. I'll do it. Why not? It's in the borders. But bro, that thing has given me a very good feeling of Kenya, man. Yes. We have a very beautiful country, man. Do you know there is a place, the last trip I did with this, my small bike I came with, it's a 200J. It's on this 200J. It's a very powerful and reliable bike. And I race with it, actually. It's my race bike. That's why I love it so much. It's nimble, fast, and what I want.
You have videos of you racing?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, okay. I'll share many pictures and videos. So, and when I was doing that trip, this is one of the best trip I did through Nakuru, from Nairobi, I left via, how do you call this place? Flyover. Thika, you get to Mangu, those to Chochoro. It's a very good road. Kenya is beautiful, bro. If you ever want to see Kenya in its raw nature, use a bike. You'll see it sometimes.
My brother says the same thing.
Maze, Kenya is very beautiful. And one thing, infrastructure-wise, we are doing best. I'll have to give, I don't know the current president what he's doing, but what I have seen, bro, we have good roads, very nice roads. So I'm doing down the Cabernet twisties, we call it the E10 twist. Then get to E10, my bike broke down. I'm going to share those pictures. By the way, it's one of the most, I mean, it's, if I've ever had an epic ride, it was that one. My bike broke down, I think 2 or 3 times, so I have to repair it by the roadside.
And this is you because you have the know-how.
Yeah, so you repair it by the roadside, proceed with the trip, get to E10, very friendly people. And that's one thing that I love when I'm riding. Go experience different cultures. Go experience, I can tell you for a fact, I have a contact in every town in Kenya. The ones I've visited. I have 5 counties to go. I've not done Migori, I've not done Lamu, I've not done Wajir and Mandera. Which else? There's one more. I think, oh yeah, I did it. No, Turkana, yes. Turkana is a count, right? Yes. Yeah, 5 counties. Yes. Those are the ones I'm looking forward to do, and then I'm done with Kenya. So when we went through all those experiences, then I get to... normally, I'm a spontaneous person. I don't write to a specific destination. I just leave. My mind is like 2010. But how to get to E10 is decided along the journey. So tunaweza fika mahali, then you get into a map like, oh, so there's another route. Oh, let's try it. So I get to Kitale. Kitale actually is my least favorite town in Kenya.
Why is that?
I've never received the best out of it. And I when I was listening to one of your guests praised it, I'm like, yo, then we have East and West experience. I didn't know what he liked about that place, but yeah, a different experience. I've been to Kitale twice riding, but I've never liked it. So I get to Kitale, then in the morning I'm like, do I go to Kakamega or I go to West Pokot? Since I've never been to West Pokot, I decided to go to West Pokot. Then trying to look on my way back, which route should I use? Then I found a good route into a Lelon town, newly built road with lots of twisties. I love corners and twisties.
So these roads that you speak of, are these the previous government or this one?
This government has done nothing. So let's just be honest. It's just riding.
Fair enough, touche.
I mean, let's just remain honest. Such a road cannot be built in 2 years with all this politics we are seeing. This guy is all the time on the rooftops of the cars. He has done nothing, zero. So we go down. I get to a Boda guy. That's how I get my routes. I'm like, I want to get this destination B from here. How do I get there? Kuna barabara, tumia hii. No, I want this other one. Give me the direction. Then they'll give you the direction. I get to Kapenguria, and then I follow that route. Bro.
Months and months of entertainment, and you haven't subscribed. This is blasphemy. You think I do this for free? It is your duty. Subscribe. Every other time with Eric continues.
Immediately I diverted. We will put our picture for the viewers. Bro, I turned my bike. I saw heaven. A well-built road with amazing landscape. You've ever seen, I think it's my fault, man. I lost words. I almost cried, man. And then I'm like, wow, I'm still in Kenya. Then we stopped. I was with a friend. So we took pictures, many pictures. After we've taken the pictures, tukapiga kona ya kwanza. Ya pili, what we had just seen was useless. Now, ona vizuri. We took another picture. We took pictures. I wrote with those videos. And then we said, okay, let's go. We moved. And then we found this place. It's a peak somewhere. And then down there's a valley. You're looking there. You see the world like it's the ending of the horizon. Bro, it has never been beautiful. We took pictures 3 times until we told ourselves we are going to do it. Because the pictures cannot do justice to what you are seeing. So such a things when you see them, bro, I can even sleep by the roadside.
I'm hearing so much passion. You know,
man. I wish pictures could have given you what I saw. I just wish. Pictures will never do justice to the landscapes, to the scene.
Is there any other way for some of us who might not have the privilege of ever getting to know how to ride that well? Is there another way to explain? Can one drive all these places?
You can, but I don't think the car, you know how do we refer the cars to? We call them cages because you are caged, literally. This bike, you are seeing literally everything. And then you are prone to more, like, I mean, there's several things that limits you when you're having a car, you know? And yeah, you won't.
Before we
I don't
talk
want to lie. And then, luckily, I've used a car, I've used air means, and I've used the bike. So I'm coming from a point of I'm telling you what I've seen, and as you go and do that, brings me back to. So there was life. There was life, and God was purposely giving me the opportunity to see that life that I had almost lost.
So this
in the addiction.
It's the same thing I asked the guy you speak of who was here before. This city manenos, this city we're trapped in, hustling and bustling. Tuko tu wear up. There's nothing here.
We're not enjoying life. We are not.
Goodness.
You remember the other day when we were having a conversation on call, I found somewhere to call home finally. You remember? It was far away from town.
Yes.
Yeah, I've never had that. It's good when you have experienced the freedom that comes with bikes, you'll definitely know what freedom is. And the same guest was actually speaking about the freedom. There's something that gives you get that, you get that feeling like, Leo on ride maybe 100 kilometers to work. Gives you a very good
100 kilometers, man.
And then, 100 kilometers, if you're doing legal speed, it's less than an hour.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Yes.
So if you're living in Umoja, Inako...
Meaning it's 30 minutes is what he's saying for him.
Don't misquote me.
But let's talk about...
crazy speeds, yes. You can do crazy speeds if you want. I don't think it's illegal in Kenya.
Let's talk about, before we get into the racing specifically.
Yes.
Tell me one hair-raising moment. Because you're scarless, look, you don't walk with a limp. But tell me one moment where you had seen your maker before seeing him.
With a bike?
With a bike where...
That was Kitambo before... I mean, it was during my using.
No. Not an accident.
Okay.
But a near miss. Something has happened. Sober, of course. The drunk ones, of course, Susan's...
It's understandable.
Every day you are knocking.
Heavens. No. Yo, can I come in now?
What about sober? Because...
Doing good speed you love, but you're like...
That was close.
Yeah, I have this 600 street bike. It's an F4i for those ones who know.
Put an F4i on the screen.
Yeah, it's you know, if I'm using it to work, I purposely don't go past gear 3 because there's that sweetness that comes from it. So you purposely do that. You'll have that feeling. So we go for this ride with some guys with good bikes, and the first one was Makindu Makindu Road. Yes, we were crazy. I'm not advising anybody to do this, but we were crazy on speed. And then from nowhere, do your bumps. So you need very good skills to do that. Yeah, that is. But then for me, it's a non-issue to get such obstacles. You need to be a well-trained, well-skilled person to handle situations like that. But yeah, good speed gives you a good thrill. We always say in biking, I mean, speed doesn't kill. It's what you do with that speed. Yeah. The last time when we were talking, I told you we are the low altitude jets.
Yes.
We fly low.
And I owe you a flight. I'm planning to honor that soon. You say you want a jump seat. We'll panga that.
Yeah. My girlfriend heard of it. She's going to be happy.
Now, talk about this racing specifically now. Because now that is putting speed to the test in a controlled environment against people. Yeah. That's measurable.
Yeah.
So talk about that.
As I told you in the story, I had done good with the class I had done good in the street. I only know one or two guys who could have done better than me on the street with that same category of bikes. So then an opportunity came. Like, we have a spot we can go race in Kenya.
Unajita bazu kuja uone.
Niko zile, wewe si unasema umeiva hapa? Kuja uone. Kuna wase. Niko zile za, why not? I'm a daring person. Let's do it. And then we always have a debate. You are not into biking. If you were into biking, we could be having that conversation of different bikes. So we have what we call the Jap machines, the Japanese machines. We have the German machines. We have the Chinese. Chinese is what is now bringing many people into biking because their bikes are readily available and affordable. I don't want to say cheap, and affordable. Some of us got the Chinese bikes. So they give you that feeling, like you getting into the bikes. You have a sport bike. So many people, contrary to their beliefs that Chinese bikes will not race, and I ask myself, why? Let's get to the track and do it. Kwani, what is the worst that can happen if I raced with my Chinese bike? Nothing. Let's do it. So we churched ourselves with some few guys and we go to the track. We got an opportunity from some guys. They're very supportive guys from Slick company. They're supportive of the sport. They've actually been holding the championship by themselves. The government is not even doing anything. The rooftop campaigning somewhere. So we get, like, yeah, we have clueless cabinet secretaries who know nothing about biking. So when you get people who are promoting that, you're like, okay. So they gave us free track day. We went, tried the tracks. Wow. So those things that we do, it's a controlled and there's a way of doing things in the street. Well, I mean, the street and the track. So we started getting, and then I realized you get more skills from the track to use on the street.
And how is the Chinese bike measuring with the others?
Of course, not comparable. You can't compare.
This is speed based or everything?
Everything. Yeah, all factors constant.
So which are the apex bike? Kawasaki?
You can't say, because now the Jap can compete amongst themselves, and then the Jap can now mix with the Italian. You can mix with the.
What's your favorite bike?
My favorite or
favorite current and dream bike?
Favorite current is the one that I've come with.
Okay.
The Zontes 200. It's my favorite.
Put that on the screen. That's a what?
200. Zontes 200.
Zontes 200. We put that on.
Yes, no marketing paid. So the Zontes 200 is one of, because from my background as a mech, it's one of the best in the Chinese, if I have to say it. Mimi siharibi mtu jina masijengei mwingine. But Zontes are well built, very good technology. Number 2 is the Dayun. I've used Dayun for the longest and I've owned many Dayuns because they are my favorite bikes for affordability, durability, and hizo ndio zinaitanga punda za China. Those bikes will give you what you want. Is the bike that I've done Moyale with, is the bike that I have done Marsabit and back the same day with, is the bike that I've done Zanzibar with, is the bike that I've traversed many places in Kenya with. Very forgiving bike. Just need to change oil, huishia. The rest, haijui. That's how forgiving that bike is. If I need speed, the 600 F4i Honda.
That's your favorite bike?
Yes, currently.
Dream?
Yes, but I still have a Kawasaki 300. So if you need that, how do you call it now? Speed, affordable speed. Yeah, affordable speed. The Ninja 300 will give you that good thrill.
Dream bike, the way I would say I want a Cybertruck, for a Tesla Cybertruck. What's
good Lord. If
no budget.
No budget.
Oh, blank check.
Yeah, for sport, anytime I'll go for M1000 BMW.
Put an M1000 on the screen.
Oh man, RR.
Why is it that police in Kenya like the BMW? The higher strata police, like the ones who, of course, there's the smaller guys who have the normal bikes, and then the escorts, the elegant. And I once tried running away from one of those guys. Let me tell you,
don't do it.
I was that time I used to drive a Nissan Wing Road,
I know.
and I had a head start. So let me tell you the story. So I'm on Bagathi Way. I am down to my last, I think, like 2,000 bob. So just as I was joining Bagathi, this time I was on a sober streak, but this is many years ago.
Yeah.
I was down to my last 2,000 bob. I'm living in some bedsitter. That time, 2,000. Yani,
it was everything.
I was passing the roundabout. I was on the phone, and that guy just met me. Like, so we went, Bagathi. I stopped on the side. He came out of the car. He asked me for my license. And I'm like, this guy, if I give him my license, he's just going to kick me here. So he parked his bike like 40 meters behind. So when he came, as he asked me for the license, I just drove off. And
He went back to get his bike.
And the guy, he didn't run to get his bike. He walked.
I'll get you.
So me, I'm just there at the rear. We seeing this guy walking slowly. Me, I've dashed down Bagathi. Then I took that. There's a katan you can take to come back up.
Yeah.
Thinking now, boss, we're on opposite sides. I've left you. Let me tell you, that guy caught me before I reached the roundabout. As in the rear view, I'm just seeing a guy getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
There's no escape route at that moment. And sometimes,
So they pick those bikes because of speed.
There's also comfort that comes with those bikes. I think most of the cops use Yamaha.
And that story was just that was from a dream that I had, just in case. You know. The thoughts, everything in jest. Yeah. True story, man.
True story. So sometimes when I'm on the road, I see most of the cages, those who drive, want to give a chase on the road, bro. Just leave it. Some of us who are disciplined not give you a chase. I won't. I'll just let you go. Because I know what I'm capable of if I have the right bike. Well, if you want to chase the SUB guys, the VW guys, I've seen many of them on the roads. They see you on the mirrors. They will, I'll show this guy. There's nowhere you're going if you have a bike.
There's no chance.
Yeah, sometimes what I do is what the police did to you. Yo, have fun, give them a head start. They go. And then now, because they are neat, most of these VW are owned by young guys.
Yeah.
The TSIs, all those bikes. You'll see them crazily driving. I'm like, yo, bro. That's have a good head start. And then when you do, when I come, bro, itakuwa madharau sana. You'll never forgive me. You'll never forgive me. No, why? I have no business with you. I'm not chasing.
Just to wave in.
Yeah. I'm not. No. Wait. You make good use of you. But I don't. Oh, man. Nitakupita hata utafurahia. Because at that moment, I know that car, the max it can do ni ngapi.
So we've talked about...
On a Kenyan road, it can't go beyond 200.
We've talked about recovery, the journey to recovery. We've talked about what you've been able to do thus far. What is your home life like, Naushad? What's the backdrop of your life? Because at the end of the day, no matter what you're doing, you go home. What is your home life like now? In terms of... And I want you to tie this to the recovery process, the strides you've made, the strides you've not made.
Yeah. You know, when we were in rehab, you remember we were given vision boards.
Yes.
I tried to have those vision boards and it was working well. And I realized kujipanga ndio muhimu in this life. And I know you can relate. Some of us who have been given that chance to live again will do everything possible to make a good, to have a good living. And not to earn a living. Just enjoy life.
Podcasts. Yeah.
Do it,
anything
man.
that was in your head, man.
Yeah.
Do it.
Do it. What do you want to do to make you happy? Go for happiness. Do it. And it's one good to do it, and it's one good to do it correct and in the right way. So out here, I'm working hard to make sure that I live the best life that I possibly can for myself.
Is there a lady in your life?
Yeah. I have she's actually supposed to be a wife now. Yeah. Very good. I met her in biking. She wasn't riding, but she's been one of the best pillars in my life. The lady who, she has been there. We have done trips with her, and she loves the bike. Over and above, it was not about the bikes. It was about the love that she had, rather we just got together. It's one thing to see you can be loved again, unconditionally.
That unconditionally part, man.
Man, do you know the times we will get quarreled and, you feel yourself worthless. And then what was so hurting in my previous was when you get denied an opportunity to be a dad to your kid. You're just a father. You just fathered someone. But you can't be a dad.
Because someone is restricting access.
Yeah. And
those are some of the things you had to do.
But do you remember one of my lowest moments was when I tried to reach out and be there and present in my son's life, and then she proved difficult to do it, and it denied me happiness until one day I woke up and told myself, what if I was dead? What if I died? So my son could live. So this life I'm doing for me, not for someone else. I'm not going to chase like, oh, please do this, let's go to court, let's do this. Like, oh, yo, I'm living my life. My son will live his life.
And when he's old enough, he will take the strides to get out of that situation.
But nowadays it's better. You know, let me tell you, human beings are funny, bro. Human beings are generally funny. They want to kick you when you're down. And they know your weakness. I love my son. That's why it's NESTA33. I dearly hold him. I would have wanted him to see me grow after I changed my life, but didn't get that opportunity. Not in a bad way, but when she decided that, I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. Just proceed and do it. So, but I dearly said, one day he'll know that I didn't have any problem. I made mistakes as a man. I drank myself stupid. I did things that I did, but I have forgiven myself. If I was given a chance, I could have done better. So since I was denied that chance, I never bothered to do it. Let me just do my life. So when I got my current wife now, is like, I'm doing life, correcting mistakes that I made. If you can correct the mistake, you can accept him for who I am. And this time I didn't lie that I don't have kids. I said I have 2 sons.
Yes.
Accept him for who I am. I'm an alcoholic. If I drink, I die. That's who I am. So if you wanted to drink in your life, just know that it can't work.
Can you say that again? Say that last part again. Because I have friends who are in this recovery journey.
Don't lie to yourself.
Who toy with the idea of having a long-term partner who drinks.
Hey, bro.
And
you know it.
And for a fact, I think about my wife, example. Our lives, our spirits are so intertwined. There's no way if she used to drink, it will not affect me.
You know, before I settled, I could meet beautiful ladies out here. But you realize that she drinks. You shy away. You don't tell them. You're like, hey, that's a done deal. Remember, where my background, as I've told you, bro, that was the last chance I was given. What haven't I done with booze? So I don't want kukatizia mtu starehe zake because they want to drink. You go drink, man. But not with me, not in my house.
Not in my life.
Not in my life.
Yes.
You know? Because now, you know the temptation. What we call alcohol. It's cunning.
Baffling. Powerful.
For us, you will see it the first day. We cannot. You know the people we left with in rehab. They'll say, "Mi ndanunua mzinga niweke pale ndakuwa naiangalia."
Can I tell you a story now?
Please do.
I'm what? I'll turn exactly 4 June 5th.
Then I'm turning 6.
That'll be
because
me.
I'm ahead of you by 2 years. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
That'll be me entering now my 5th year. And sometime last year, there was a party, a staff party. And because the people who are being celebrated are near and dear to me. One guy we were in high school with, he just got his command. And he was like leading the charge. So I was like, out of honor for this guy, since they've been told to host, and they're hosting all of the company people, I'll make a guest appearance. So being a recovering alcoholic, I'll be there I went there at 4, left at 7, before the madness started. So just as the madness was started, of course guys are drinking. But do you know, it did something to me psychologically. Yeah. And when I came back home, time has passed, it really re-energized the fact of how seriously I have to safeguard my own recovery. Yeah. This thing for thinking you can just be at in places where guys are, for me,
it's limited time if you have to. Limited time.
Because I noticed if I see someone drinking and I watch them, look at this guy changing, getting tipsy. I remember what that.
That's where you are.
That transition, that feeling of. So what are you doing consciously? Because recovery, sometimes we run it on autopilot because life is happening. Got a job, got a wife,
you're busy.
Hustle, I'm busy. But one thing I'm learning as I go, you have to have moments of consciousness to keep that recovery going. So for you, how do you safeguard your recovery consciously?
One, I'm so specific on what I want. Sometimes I'll be the one choosing where to meet people. Number 2, I avoided PPTs.
People, places, and things.
Yes. PPTs,
people, places, and things. Those are the things that any person who might lead you to a drink, any place that might lead you to a drink, or anything
that can make you go back to drinking.
Make sure you know yours. It could be a woman, it could be a specific person, it could be a specific bar.
You see, if I had fallen for love blindly, probably I could have just gotten somebody who drinks. And then before you know it, once you're in love, you don't take control.
Kawain kashiki.
Kawain mtu anakuambia pombe pia inaku affect. Lakini si umepona. You know those people who tell you 5 years umepona, so you can't drink anymore. Guys, your life is boring. Meetings, nini. Yapana. And then I gave myself, this is a very big brand, by the way. Nesta, and I'm seeing it growing bigger and bigger and bigger. So to me, I have so much to protect in my life. The program teaches us about, not that I'm so much into the program, but the things that I get from the program is, it teaches us about, this program is selfish. You have to jealously guard
your recovery. Yes.
Because nobody's going to do it for you, bro.
And also on the
every moment you think about drinking, think about your journey.
And no one is also gonna be all those times you're in cell. It was not a group.
Hey, bro,
it's you.
Do you know if I went down right now, even my wife can leave me now, you'll go to zero, and you know how bad it gets. If you do anything stupid right now and you get yourself into drinking, everything, we know where we were before.
You know that last ride I told you I went on when my last relapse, 2020,
the one that got you to Kilimuru somewhere.
Yes, that one. My last relapse.
I had that too.
That was, you know, when you want to confirm.
Done.
You know, I just wanted to confirm. Yani, hope you're enjoying this episode so far. I just wanted to mention that this episode is brought to you by Grace Stays. Grace Stays is your solution for any travel down south. If you're going to Diani, I want you to think Grace Stays. For all your travel solutions in Diani, if you're looking at accommodation, if you're looking at expeditions, different packages, looking for homestay, if you're looking for private chef, they have the best deals, the best packages for you. If you're thinking Diani, I want you to think Grace Stays. We're going to be putting up all their details on the screen right now. This episode is proudly brought to you by Grace Stays. Amazing product, amazing people. Every Other Time with Eric, proudly sponsored by. Back to the episode. Yani, this thing, there's no way it will ever work.
Never.
And everything I thought I had gotten in less than a week, gone. And that's how it works. Right now, you've built NESTA33 to the biggest brand.
Yeah.
And it's still growing.
We're actually planning to start importing bikes.
1 week of Relapse can cave that thing. I have a job I've secured. I've been working hard and I have big plans for my life. Things are going well. 1 week of a Relapse.
Done, man.
Everything
You
is
know,
gone.
if for me, I have to be there to repair a bike. Not that I'm going to do it online. So if I drink and don't show up for a whole week, what happens? You're let down clients. I work on appointments only. Mostly, yeah. Welcome few walk-ins, but mostly we do appointments. So I'm going to disappoint people. And once they know you've started getting drunk, that's done for you. That's done for you. But for me, I've also given myself a big responsibility to be the champion of biking in Kenya. So I'm doing everything possible to bring discipline, and I have to be a good example. So I'm not going to lead from behind. I'm leading from the front. What is expected of you? This is what I'm championing for. Because I've now tested what life is, bro. So what the only thing and opportunity that I have is to make someone's life better. If I can do it, let me do it. That's the only thing that keeps me going. Somebody was kind to me, I'll be kinder to you. Because there's no way I'm going to repay for the good deeds that I got from people. Let me be the kindest person that you'll ever meet in your biking. So how do I do it? Let's start by being disciplined. When you get disciplined, and let it not come from people wakwambie. I actually made, why not for the rigging? Kenya is just the same. I was to be the president of the private bikers.
Oh, you were rigged out.
Yes.
Yes, I remember you mentioned something.
Yes. So that's why sometimes when I look at politics, I'm like, wow.
You understand the game.
I understand now the game. Why? You can win and somebody just makes a call, like, yo, turn the tables. I don't like that. And then I think my growth in the biking was just too fast. As you said, it was just like
astronomical.
Before they know it, they're asking, nasikia kuna Banesta mahali. Who's that Banesta? Who's that Banesta? Who's that Banesta?
It's like this guy who came from, it's called UNCTAD, having chaired some of the most fantastic international organizations.
Yeah.
Came with all the experience, exposure, then they exposed him.
Yeah.
And that's like
who's that guy? That's how you go.
I won't say his name, but everyone knows that politician. He came on the last, he wanted to come and try and be a third force.
Yeah.
And he had all the credentials.
Yes. You could have done it.
Next thing, we're seeing a guy bare in some room with a clan.
Naked. I'm like,
And we're like, yeah,
how
just like
did,
that.
how did we get here?
And just like that, your political.
It's done, man.
It's done.
It's
So-
done. And I think some of the things that you can learn, it's generally in life, be you. Don't be a good person. Be you. Let people know who you are. Let them not start. Like, you can't protect if you want to be a good person. You can't protect it for long. But if you remain the Eric Mutisa I know, forever you will be the Eric Mutisa I know. But if you want to be a good person, itafika mahali the goodness fails you.
One of the biggest things, and before we because I want us to move to the final segment, one of the biggest things I'm learning as a young, not so young man, but early 30s, is at some point as a man, I don't know about ladies, and maybe they are as well, but I think ladies actually face this at an earlier phase of their life. You're faced with your ethics.
Yes.
And your ethics, what I mean is, you're forced to define who you are.
Yes.
You see, Naushad has captured it well and said, don't be a good guy. You have to define what is a good guy to you.
Yes.
What are your parameters?
But for how long again?
What will you not cross? And it's ever changing depending on the
Yes.
season you're in.
Yes.
Yeah. So sometimes people think you can have ideals and die by them. This is how I do things. And life, the way the system of
It will show you different things.
it will show you that, and sometimes you have to work within the system. Now, the extent of how willing you are to play the system is what I'm saying defines one's ethics.
Exactly.
Am I willing to kill? No.
Yeah, no, I
Am
can't
I willing
do
to
that.
steal?
Kuna limit.
There's a limit.
Yes.
But I always say the slang word for it is ujanja is lazima. Lazima. To survive.
To survive, yeah.
Ujanja is
Uko mjanja, lazima uko mjanja.
Now, before we move to the next
But
step,
you see,
Yeah.
in the integrity part, people will question even if you are doing the wrong thing. I mean, the right thing. So it's for you. That's why I insist. Just be you. Stop being a good person. Because at the end of the day, there are people who will judge you for your kindness or goodness. I've seen them. But if you remained you not feel disappointed. Do you know if you are feeding somebody every day, itafika mahali yako entitled? Simply because you wanted to extend that kindness of you to, let me feed this guy. It can be your sibling, somebody you know, a street kid, or somebody else you want to help. But the moment, and I feel that entitlement, like, see, this guy is being good to me, you will get disappointed if he fails you. But if you are you remain, let me just do what I'm supposed to do. And then go my way. You're not waiting for somebody to clap for you. You're not waiting for... Yeah. Nobody should reciprocate for the good you have done to them. It will never affect you. So sometimes, it's what life has just taught me.
that's deep.
It's what just life has taught me. Like, why am I a good person? If I don't like Eric... You remember the time we were sharing a story here, I came to visit. Not now we're recording that day. And then we are looking at life generally. How do we live as a life? Do you know the poor person cannot cry? No. The rich person cannot lack sleep because somebody is poor somewhere and slept hungry. It's none of their business.
They've reconciled.
Yes.
How the
they
world
know
works.
I'm rich and that is it.
Yeah.
If you want to argue, if you want to say how bad the government is, for them they're like, okay, so what? And then they're seated and like, okay. But there's a poor person there who will feel entitled, like, sasa ule jamaa mbona anakula peke yake badala anipe. Why do you feel so entitled to life? So this guy is being good and being to you when they're feeding, but they stop. You like squeezing nani atulete, and that is what is killing our youths in Kenya majorly. Entitlement, and then akusema ule mbunga nafaa tulete, ule nani, ule. Do you, bro? Do you? In the absence of this kindness of people, what are you going to get? So you as Banesta, are you going to keep doing what you're supposed to do, or you're going to do good so that people can clap for you? If they're clapping for you, then it means you owe them goodness. You'll have to keep on doing the goodness. What will happen the day you'll not be doing the goodness?
They say if you live by the years, you die by the booze. That's what they say.
You see?
Now, moving on to the final segment. So for yours, it's not going to just be people. It's also going to be words, right? But I'll end with the words. I'm going to start with the people. And I think we'll do quite a few. So I want you to say the first thing that comes to your mind by way of one word, and then feel free to describe it briefly, the reason as to why. Why you say this word about this specific person. All right. So I'll start with Elon Musk.
Genius.
That one is self-explanatory.
But do you know, okay, first and foremost, I told you Trump was going to win.
I was Team Trump. We've been talking
Who
about
was that?
I was
Who was that going to bed thinking that they can wake up in the morning and America's Kamala as the president? Yeah. Let's be honest and realistic.
There was no chance.
There was no single chance. But then again, it teaches you one thing. You can do it. Just do it.
Me Trump on a man level, leave alone even president, on a man level, facing tribulations,
Aye, bro.
being fought by everyone.
The system itself.
They chuck you, they try kill you, and then you come back.
Aye, bro. To an extent, they say the assassination was stage managed.
Yes.
Hey, bro.
And people were believing.
We're too serious in our life.
And then, on that note, Kamala Harris.
Who's that again?
That's your reaction. Fair enough.
But then I wanted to finish on that point that this guy has come to it's his last chance to put the world where it's supposed to be. And he has the powers. So when I found that Elon Musk is with him, I'm like, wait a minute. And this guy is pumping a lot of money. He knows something that we need to know. But you know, you and I from Kitambo, even when we were in rehab, we supported Trump. Like
all through.
Like, let's be honest, if you want to speak truth, let it be spoken. But when that guy woke up one morning and said, I'm supporting this guy, and the things he's doing, the way he's changing things, technology and everything, you can't be better than Elon.
So he said, who's that for Kamala? We're going to leave that as the response.
Exactly.
Now, Vladimir Putin.
Hey, bro. Hey. Let's just say he's a good player. No, he's a good player. The world needs people who keeps them on check.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Man City.
It's just that's an overrated.
Overrated.
That's an overrated team. Yeah.
Take over.
Sometimes I've watched football. I told you my two passionate hobbies is
riding
football and riding. Yeah, football is. If I was given a chance from Kitambo with my parents, I could have been a good footballer, I think. So Man City has always ran on luck. Pep has done his best, but sometimes your best comes to an end.
Keeping it football, Neymar.
That guy just wasted himself. Useless.
Useless is the word.
Yeah. You remember the World Cup, the 2018 World Cup?
Yes.
That guy was playing like he's playing in a bubble. You don't touch me, I fall down. And actually, if you carefully follow Neymar, he's the one who spoiled the games and rules. That guy was a star.
Fragile.
And so fragile that you have to protect him from the referees to teammates to whoever, and then it failed. How do you get yourself into that? He got into big stages and he didn't perform. Now he's back to this.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh, that's a goat. That's a goat, man. How old is he again?
How does he measure up with Messi?
He tops. Messi follows.
Oh my God, we can have another 3-hour podcast. I'll leave it
Because
at that.
no, but he has proven a point.
What point?
Hard work. Messi is talented and
no, but there's this misconception
of
that Messi doesn't work hard. What are you guys?
Wait, come on, bana. How many teams has Messi played for?
That's
No. I'm not just asking a question. You can answer.
Doesn't matter.
But only Barca, right? And he got a system that favored him. Ronaldo, we have seen him in different teams and he has performed.
But Messi won the World Cup.
Well, you measure
Champions League.
You measure that with World Cup.
What are we measuring? He took his country to victory.
Do you know how many frustrations? Okay, when did he win that? When did he win that?
He has more Ballon d'Ors.
Oh God, that corrupt. You want to use the corrupt thing that denied many.
So all the metrics that we use in football And we're not going to use them just because it's Messi.
Kwanza the awards just
Why is it that
the league, the
it-
leagues and the league, the league we can use
we
that
started
as a
another
parameter.
podcast.
Yeah, with the league we can use that one to measure. But when we are coming to the voting and such a things that happens, bro, everybody knows these things are very, and there's a lot of corruption.
But
that
most,
happens
but
in
most,
that.
but yeah,
And when he wins, we'll celebrate. But let's be honest, Cristiano is the best, bro. I know you agree to some extent, but you don't want to accept it.
no. I think Cristiano is a great second. Probably a great...
After who?
After Messi. And I think...
then I'll
hear me out. Second in that, the fact that those are 1 and 2 is unheard of. That there's even a 1 and there's also a 2 like that. It's unheard of. We'll never see it again.
True.
But
Yeah, true.
for me, Messi... You know, I sometimes I find myself going down a rabbit hole of Messi highlights. And to think that the guys he was playing with, those are professional footballers, and he was just having his way.
Yeah, that guy is a good
Having his way.
Okay, don't make me say good things about Messi. Let's focus. We are talking.
Okay, so-
we are talking about. But one thing we need to appreciate. Not that I hate Messi. I love what he does, bro. That guy is a good dribbler. He can dribble his ball. He has skills. He has got everything. But after Cristiano, the good thing is Cristiano has portrayed his life in all the spheres as a good guy. I've seen him and I've followed him, man, kutoka kitambo, and I feel a connection when you look at him. He has tried life everywhere.
Switching gears, Ibrahim Traore.
So when we are looking at him, he's the future. Actually, if we want to define Africa, let's use him. Bro, that guy is genius. And he has proven to us that we have got everything we need in our countries. You see what he did just the other day? Building hospitals. He's making the roads. He has cancelled the French, whatever, the support. You heard the other day, the Prime Minister, the France Prime Minister, is it the Prime Minister or what? He was crying,
Manuel.
you can't do that to us. Nah. Why are you whining? You move out of that country. And he has now promoted the local language, like, si lazima uongee.
Try to call them ungrateful.
Don't be ungrateful. Hey, yo, man. You see, now this is where we get it right. When Africa is waking up, there are people who are not going to be happy. And as I said, I like what Trump is trying to change. He's now the guy who's going to promote. You see, the many things he has changed immediately he got into office. Tell me, any leader in the world who was not shaken immediately got into office. There are several things he has done. So if we have people like Traore in power and they get support from Trump, like, yeah, it's your country, run as you want.
Do your thing.
Do your thing. You're independent, right? Why do we have... Do you know how much... The France...
It was ridiculous. That system of how much they used to remit to France
Mazi,
was
you are
crazy.
paying to the reserves of France, and yet people are poor and dying here. And then France now is giving you back as aid. That guy has brains. And I said the future of Africa should look that direction, not the rooftop guys.
Now, the last two. Remember I told you for you there'll be words, huh? Addiction.
Let me describe addiction is a lifestyle. It's not what you choose as a lifestyle, but once you get it, you need to manage that lifestyle. It's like somebody who was born with, you just woke up one day and realized you have a lot of money. So you have to deal with that lot of money. If you don't use that money well, it will kill you. If you use it well, it will help.
Build you.
Yeah, it will build you, it will give you everything that you need, from fame to everything. So for addiction, it's a lifestyle that you either choose, like the friends we have who sit down and cry, or live that lifestyle. What does that lifestyle give you? Avoiding some things, people, and places. So choose to live that lifestyle. Imekuweka hapo, you just live that lifestyle. It's also good that I realized I'm an alcoholic. It keeps me on check every day. When I wake up in the morning, I remember to thank my Almighty. When you're working, you remember there are things you are not supposed to do. Do you know how many people are out here, but they're not aware of who they are? So for you and I, we know who we are and we know the things to do and things not to do.
That's deep.
So it gives you what to choose. You have choices. You know. And like before, when I didn't know, that's why I was recklessly living.
You're wondering what's up.
What's up? I'm drinking. We drank with so and so. Yesterday, we woke up, we went to work, but I didn't. I was a cabbage. Because I didn't know. But now that I know, if I go and drink.
Last but not least, recovery.
It's a journey. It's a journey. And as I said, most of the journeys that I do, I don't look at the destination. I enjoy the journey. So recovery is a journey that I'm enjoying walking in. It's one of the most amazing journeys we'll ever walk in.
Ladies and gentlemen, my brother, my friend, Naushad, Bar NESTA33. What a pleasure it has been having you on Every Other Time with Eric. Thank you for your riveting story. Thank you for walking us through a journey of resilience that turns into recovery, that turns into passion, that turns into leadership, as in to see who you've become. It's a pleasure having you as a friend, man. Thank you so much for making time.
It's good that every time when we're meeting with good friends, he's doing what he loves, and then we catch up in the process. I'm also proud of you, what you're doing. I was asking myself how you manage. Last time we were here, you manage a podcast every Tuesday, Monday, whatever, in between, and then you are flying. We know it's a demanding job, but you're doing well. Congratulations on your recovery again. It's good to always relate, and we are doing it. I'll always give credit to the people around me, like especially my girlfriend. She's been denying herself things to see us grow to where we are. Thank you so much. And those ones who are looking up to it, NESTA33 in biking, bigger things are coming.
Put it on the screen right now.
Yeah, man. It's a thing that we will want to change the community. Let it be for everyone who wants to join biking, and you can do it. And you do it. It's what you love, but usikuja na kiburi. Nataka kuride car Nesta. I've been riding for 20 years. You don't just wake up in the morning and you want to ride like me.
Every Other Time with Eric, Bar NESTA33. It's a wrap.